What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. We're back at Copart for another Copart walk around. So let's jump into this today with number one on my list, a 2005 Mercedes-Benz SL500. Man, I got a thing for these cars. I've had a lot of you asking what happened to my SL600, and I guess I forgot to tell you guys, I sold it. I actually sold it and made like 200 bucks on it. Like, I barely made a profit on that car. But yeah, I sent that one down the road, and it did all right. It did all right. It brought a lot of views to the channel. That one was one, it needed so much. It needed so much. And financially, it didn't make any sense to try to fix that car. So I went ahead and sent it down the road. But here we go. Here's another one, an SL500. Granted, it's not the V12. It's just a V8, but it's still a really nice looking car. I wonder what the mileage is on it. It doesn't look that bad other than a smashed back bumper here. It really doesn't look that bad. Maybe this pan got pushed in just a tad, just a hair. Hell, the trunk, I think, could still be saved. Looks like it really just needs a tail light and a back bumper. It doesn't look bad at all. You want to talk about an easy fix. This could be a really easy fix. KMC wheels, very sharp looking car. There's your bumper support, which is broken. So obviously you'll need the bumper and the support. I hate that they take broken pieces like this and they throw them into these nice cars, you know. If it's an old clunker, whatever, you know, do what you do. But on something nice like this, it's a shame to risk damaging the beautiful interior over broken parts that nobody wants. You know, like, does anybody really want that broken bumper support? No, they don't. They truly don't. You've got a little air temperature. It's hot out here. I'm thinking temperature because I'm hot. It's got an air pressure gauge in there. It's got nice tinted windows. And I'm sure it's dead as a doornail. Because, no, it's not. It's not. It's got power. Oh, wow. It runs. And it's got almost 150,000 miles on it. And it runs better than the SL600 that I had with 100,000 miles. Mine had 99,000 miles on it. And it was falling apart. Wow. 150,000 miles. It fired right up on its own without a jump, and there's no warning lights on the dash. None. Air conditioning? Who knows? We'll find out. Radio? Radio works. Brakes feel good. Backwards. Forwards? Does the trunk open, I wonder? I don't think so. I think the trunk is damaged. That does not surprise me. Air conditioning works. Steering feels great. The important window works. The less important window also works. No way. No way. That AC is really, really nice. Let's see if this trunk will do anything. Oh, it is. Oh, wow. Boy, that's heavy. Ugh. A couple broken pieces. The exhaust tips were broken. The trunk itself, though, I don't think the trunk is damaged. Now, you got to really hope that there's no damage to any of these mechanicals under here that run the convertible top, because that would probably get pretty expensive. And I don't see any real damage to the pan either. I think this is very minor. And it does close. It's absolutely closed. I want this. I want this. Listen, the V12 is great, but if you want something that's got good enough power, something fun, something sporty, but something that's not going to break your wallet to own and drive, this is it right here. This is it. If you've got to have a Mercedes, I'm telling you, the SL500 is the one. Super easy to work on. You don't have to replace an entire bank of coils at one time. Listen to that. Yeah, it's going on my list. Oh, I already know Monkey Wrench Mike is going to be eyeballing this one. Nah, this is going on my list. I want to know if the top works, but I'm not going to mess with it here. It's not my car, and I would hate to attempt to open the top and it gets stuck or something and cause more work for Copart or cause damage to the vehicle. So I typically will not test convertible tops. I just assume they don't work. Heated seats, air-conditioned seats. I guess you only get one level of, boy, this is nice. Cup holders, yes. They work. Oh, wow. I love this. I really, really do. Okay, well, I want this car. I don't know what else to say. I want this car. You think they'd care if I took it for a test drive real quick, just to make sure that everything functions like it's supposed to? Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea. Glove box must be locked. Can't get in here because of all of these parts. Yeah, I'm kind of digging this, guys. You tell me what you think. Let's go find something else. Now, this is interesting. I recognize some of the markings on this, so I know where it came from, and now I want to know why it's here. Obviously, you're looking at a Range Rover that is sitting very low on the ground. It's got some very big wheels. It's a 13, and if you see this dollar sign, maybe hard to see on video, but there's a faded dollar sign. That is from dealer auto auction. Yep. This was at dealer auto auction. The dollar sign means that it was actually paid for. It's a Range Rover Sport HSE Luxe Edition. You got some very nice wheels. I like those. It shouldn't be sitting quite so low, but it is a little concerning that, and where are the mirror caps? And where's the trim? And why is it sitting all the way on the ground? Something tells me somebody bought this and it wasn't a good deal. And they tried to sell it and they couldn't sell it. And now it's here where it probably has a better chance of getting them some of their money back. Interior smells pretty bad on this one. It doesn't look bad, but it smells pretty rough. I guarantee you this one doesn't have power. Whew, golly. Boy, that hits you in the face. It smells, I don't know, it smells wet, but from a long time ago. I don't know, stale, I guess is the way to put it. It smells stale. Another Range Rover. God knows I don't need another one of these. Dead as a doornail. Uh-oh, service sticker. You guys know how I feel about that. There's some old food and things going on in here. Let's pop the hood. We're definitely gonna throw a jump start on this. I have to. I can't help it. I love Land Rovers and Range Rovers, even though I know better. I can't. Oh. Well. Yeah. So, oh, look. What is it, a 13? I bet it is. It's a 13. I know. I'm not going to take it, although, God, that's tempting. No, I'm not going to take it. I don't take anything from any of the cars out here. So this is interesting. We're not going to put a jump start on it. That's for sure. So, looks like there's a water pump and a tensioner. The intake is missing, along with a whole bunch of other components. Leaves you kind of wondering what exactly went wrong here. Definitely got some engine problems. I think we can agree on that. I wonder if the intake manifold, or the plenum, I should say, I wonder if the plenum is back here. Oh, you can't. Yeah, it is. There's all the parts. Airbox, intake plenum. Everything's there. Okay. Well, it's got all the parts if you wanted to put it back together, but obviously There's nothing to see here. Next on my list is a super boring 2014 Chevrolet Cruze. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I love this car. While most people hate this car, I love it. I love a Chevy Cruze. I had one. It was a little eco model with a little turbo 1.4 liter. It was a great car that I racked up almost 200,000 miles on with very minimal repairs, and I was able to do all of them myself. So this one has a little bit of hail damage. The tires look to be in okay, decent shape. There is some damage to the front bumper right there. That may have totaled it. That could have totaled it right there. Let's take a look at the interior. And this one is kind of unique because this is a CNG model, compressed natural gas, right there on the back. Natural gas powered automotive. So very interesting. It doesn't smell the greatest, but compared to the car we just looked at, the Range Rover over there, this one smells a lot better. This one definitely smells better. Cigarette burns all in the seats. It's pretty dirty, pretty well trashed. It doesn't have power, I don't believe. I almost hate to sit in it. It does smell better than the other one. Oh, there's no key? Oh, man, come on. Air fresheners. No keys. Well, we made quick work of this one too, didn't we? Well, that sucks. Moving on. Let's try this one. How about a 2020 Hyundai Sonata? Now, I know why this car is here, but I want you guys to do a little walk around with me and take a close look at it and tell me if you can see why this car is here. If you see it, go ahead and comment below right now. And then when we get through the walk around, I'll tell you why it's here. Let's walk around the other side. I can't fit behind it, so we're gonna walk around this way. Just take a look. What do you think? It actually looks really, really nice. Did you drop your comments already? Why it's here? You figure it out? All right, I'm gonna tell you. Take a look at the roof. That should give you a pretty good idea of why this is here. Hail damaged, and it's got a lot of it. It's got excellent tires. Car's only 3 years old. I don't know what the mileage is on it yet, but we'll find out. Interior smells all right. That's unusual. It actually smells decent. 2 key fobs. That's very rare. Very rare to get dual key fobs with a car. Typically the owners keep one for whatever reason, but there they are. Start it up. It's got power, 55,000 miles. It's very clean in here. Man, this would make a great little commuter car. I bet it gets like 35 miles a gallon too. I'll bet it does. Ooh, it is hot. Really, really hot. Extremely hot in these cars today. Good Lord. It's almost 100 degrees today, so no surprise. Let's put it in gear. I don't like the little push buttons. I'm just not a fan of those. Forward and backwards. Yep. And then we'll put it back in park. Obviously, with 55,000 miles on the odometer, everything should work on this. I have no doubt. Steering works. Steering feels great. Important window works. Less important window works. It's out of gas, but you can look at the gauges if you can see them. And there are no warning lights on the dash at all. 36 miles till it runs out of fuel. Ice cold air conditioning. That AC is nice. On hot days like this, you really, really appreciate getting into a car and kicking on the air conditioning. It helps. And not to mention, the GoPro's kind of notorious for overheating. It overheats constantly. So what I've had to do to it's kind of offset the overheating is I've had to turn my frame rate down from 60 frames a second down to 24 frames a second. So I'm recording at 4K 24, which makes the videos a little less smooth, but it keeps my camera from overheating and shutting off on me. So well, you do what works, right? It sounds perfect. I mean, it should be. It's a Hyundai. I know a lot of people still are out there talking trash on Kias and Hyundais, man. I own a lot of cars, and I've owned a ton of cars, and I will swear by Hyundai, Kia. I mean, probably forever. They make some phenomenal vehicles. They really do. Let's see, can we open? I want to open the trunk. I guess there's a remote button for the trunk. Yes, no, maybe it's down here. There we go. Oh, that AC feels nice. Oh, that is so nice. A little hail damage. I think this car, there's the steering wheel cover. I think I'm gonna actually put this car on my watch list. I was not looking for one of these, but isn't that the way it goes? You typically find something you just can't live without, but you didn't know you couldn't live without it until you found it. Interesting. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this car. I do have my 20, I don't remember what year it is. Is it a 2013 or 2015 Kia Forte, I think, that has no title. I could be driving it because I know that thing gets great fuel economy. I don't like the looks of it all that much, whereas I like the looks of this one much better. I like the newer infotainment screens and all the buttons. I don't like this, but everything else I just love about this car. And I bet the fuel economy is way better than the one I have. So I'm gonna put this on my list. If you guys have been around very long at all, you know I don't care about hail damage, hail, dings, dents. I don't care about that stuff. Because most of my cars, I'm just driving them. People are going to, you know, scratch them, scrape them, bump into them. Things are gonna happen. And when you buy a car with hail damage, you don't have to worry about that so much. You know, because it's like, oh well, it's already got, you know, 300 dings in it. One more really isn't gonna hurt anything. You can get a great car at a great price, and this one I think is perfect because, number one, it's already 3 pushing 4 model years old. It's got 55,000 miles on it, which isn't a lot, but it's almost, you know, it's over halfway to 100,000 miles. And then the hail damage with a salvage title, I think it's like the perfect storm for anybody that's looking for a really budget-friendly vehicle to get them where they need to go reliably for a long time to come. You just have to accept that cosmetically, it's not the most appealing. Next on my list, and I almost can't believe I'm standing in front of this, a 1994 Chrysler LHS. This thing is going up for bids tomorrow. Like, it's already almost auction time, and this thing has no bids on it, none. And it's a pure sale, which means if I bid $100 and it ends at $100, I win this car for $100. Now, this is the interesting thing. It's listed as a start, not a drive. It's got good tires all the way around. The body looks good. I see very minimal dings and dents on it, very few at all. It's almost in perfect condition. And I know this may not be a highly sought after or desirable car, but this is something that takes me back to my youth. And I don't know about you, but anytime I see a car, even crappy ones that take me back to my youth, I want to buy them. I don't know why, I just want to buy them. Let's take a look at the interior, see how it looks, how it smells, more importantly. It doesn't stink. The interior's pretty good. Okay, listen, let me rephrase. The interior is not great, but for any car made in 1994, the 90s was a bad time for car interiors. Guys, the 80s and the 90s was really bad for car interiors. They were all very cheap leather and plastic, and it just wasn't very good. This car actually has a very decent interior for the age. And as far as miles go, for a 1994, it's only got 124,000 miles on the odometer. Is that the hood? That says it's the hood. Interesting. So, as far as I can remember, back to 94, there's only 2 options for an engine under the hood of this car. That's going to be a 3.5 high output. It's going to be a twin cam. Or, I believe the other option is a 3.3 liter but I could be wrong about that. Ah, yes, this is the engine you want. This is the engine you want. The trusty old 3.5. And so many people did not realize these were timing belt motors. It's hard to tell that it's a timing belt motor because everything on the front is metal. Normally, on a timing belt motor, you've got a plastic cover. This is all aluminum and metal. The timing belt on this car is super easy to do. Super easy. Doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, there's nothing to these cars. So, if you've been on the channel for any length of time, clean oil, then you know I'm probably buying this. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. I just want the stupid thing. There was a weak point to these cars. The engines were super great. Like, these were great engines. Not very many problems to speak of. It looks like it's full of coolant, it's full of oil, but there was a weak point to these cars. As with most Chryslers, Mopars from back in the day, you guessed it, transmissions. Yes, transmissions. These things are really, really interesting because the motor faces the traditional way, like an old school rear-wheel drive car would, but it's a front-wheel drive vehicle. So it's a very unique and interesting transaxle design where they were able to fit the engine normal, well, abnormally for 1994, but I think this is called longitudinally, I think. They were able to fit it in like a normal car. The rack and pinion is on top right here. It's hard to see, but the rack and pinion is actually sitting up here. Your tie rods come out somewhere up there. And oh, the transmission is so hard to get a glimpse of. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't want to do a transmission in one of these. I've never had to do one, but I got a hunch that it would probably be a major pain in the backside. I'm looking for the dipstick and I don't see it. So it's probably here somewhere. I'm missing it. So if you guys happen to know where the trans dipstick is on this car, please let me know down in the comments below. Or maybe it doesn't have one, but I'm certain that back in '94 they still had transmission dipsticks on their cars. I'm just missing it. Yeah, I don't see the silly, there it is, right there. Right there. We'll go ahead and just check that real quick. It's got some, and it looks very, very pink. And I've told you guys before that some people would be really excited about bright pink transmission fluid, but I'm not. It scares me because I can't help but think that something had gone wrong with the transmission, and somebody thought, well, now that the transmission's broken, this would be a great time to service it, which rarely ever works. So this is interesting. The battery has a date code of April of 2023. So somebody was recently working on this. They even put a LED light in there, and looks like somebody put some new plug wires. So somebody was definitely working on this car, and now it's a Copart. My question is why? Whoo! Oh boy, it's hot. Whew, wow. It's got clickers, keyless entry, 2 key fobs and 2 keys. I gotta have this. There we go. Just ignore the rod knock when we first started it up. That's perfectly normal and fine. Well, we've got the AC on. Whew, nothing. Important window, works. Less important window, works. That's good. Let's get some airflow. There we go. Let's get some airflow going through, because it is super hot in this car. The blower motor does not appear to work. Everything seems to be functioning. Just, yeah, the blower motor does not come on. Let's give her a little rev. It sounds good. You've got your little, I forgot what they called this, your fuel thing up here. I forgot what this was called. They had a name for this, and now I can't remember, but this one doesn't work. Pretty common for them to not work. Steering feels good. It's completely out of gas. Like, completely. It's got no gas. It's got the Infinity sound system, which maybe we can put it on FM.
Special guest, the Dead Aces and Mean Streak Band, OKC. This is a benefit for Skylar, who was badly burned in a house fire.
Radio works. Horn works. Cup holders. Very cushy seats too. Very cushy. Now this says the brakes feel good too. The steering feels good. As I said, the AC does not seem to do anything. But let's see if it goes into gear, because this is listed as a start, not a drive. Uh-oh. Nothing. Nothing at all. Give it just a little throttle. I felt it. It tried. Okay. Well, come on, old girl. No. So what could be wrong with it? Well, let's put it into first gear. Still nothing. No. Put it in neutral. All right, so here's the first thing I notice when I turn the car on. I have no gauges, no tack, no fuel, no temp. There's nothing on the dashboard working, so it makes me wonder, could there be a communication problem? Is the transmission not reporting to the speed sensor? This will need a little bit of work. Signals work. Headlights appear to work properly. Yeah, this one's going to need a little bit of work. Could the trans be completely bad? Absolutely. Yeah, it sure could. Man. Could it be low on fluid? I mean, there's got to be a reason that we've got no gauges on the dash. Could be a fuse. Could be something to do with the... Maybe it's got something to do with this blower motor not working too. Maybe there's several blown fuses. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to roll these windows up, though. I'd be willing to bet that if you check the trans fluid level right now... In fact, let's leave this window down just a hair. I'd be willing to bet that if you check the fluid level while it's running, it's probably not even registering. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get our hands down in here and let's see if we can... No, there's nothing even on here right now. It's on the very tip. I mean, barely at the bottom of the dipstick. So it's not really registering any transmission fluid. Could it be that simple? Could it be that we just need to throw some transmission fluid in it? The alternator's charging at almost 14 volts. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm willing to take a chance on it because I like this old car. I do. Oops, let me put that window up. Come on. I like the old car. It's actually in pretty good shape aside from a couple minor issues. If you consider the Ooh, what's blowing out the front of the car? What is this? That's trans fluid. Oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Did it blow a line? Did it pop a trans line? Is there a trans line broken under here? There is. There is. There's a transmission line broken, I think. I mean, that is trans fluid spewing out from under the car. So that's something that that's something we'll have to look at. But I'm willing to bet if you could get the transmission fluid back to a proper level, she'd probably drive. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw a bid on this car. I'm gonna try to bring this one to the channel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that looks like it's pretty much all of the cars that I can show you out here. We've reached the end of the line. That's sad. Seems like there's less and less cars, which in reality is a good thing, because that means less people are having accidents and there's less property damage, less people getting hurt. Definitely a good thing, but man, it's getting to be slim pickings out here. I'm gonna have to start looking around at some other locations to try to find some other deals, maybe some other Copart yards in different states. Heck, maybe I'll even jump into Monkey Wrench Mike's territory up in Tulsa. I'm kidding, I'm not gonna do that. I want to take this opportunity to thank Copart for letting us come out here and peruse their inventory. And of course, thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch these videos. If you enjoyed the content, hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. And until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.